Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Laps Down podcast. My name is Andrea.
And I'm MJ.
We are coming at you with another episode this week. We had IndyCar racing and NASCAR racing, no F1 racing, but plenty of F1 drama. If you're new here, welcome. Be sure to subscribe. And if you've been here for a while and you've never left us a review, maybe today's the day you change that. I don't know. It would be nice. And do we want to start with F1?
Yeah, let's do it.
Alrighty. We have two F1 stories. They're kind of like, one is fun rumors and the other one is a rumor that's probably not true. So Alpine, we talked last week, Ollie Oakes was out and we were like, I wonder what's going on with the Alpine situation. And I think that we gave Ollie Oakes the credit of like, well, maybe he just was standing on business about the driver swap between Jack and Franco. Turns out it might have been Russian oligarchs in crime. Oops.
Russian oligarchs. Oops.
Did see that one coming. Apparently, him and his brother, who own an F2 team together, his brother was arrested in England near where they run their team out of, and he had lots of cash on him, and he was arrested for, I believe, like possession of criminal property or something like that. And then Ollie Oakes fled to Dubai. Nobody knows where he is since then. Seems like guilty activity, in my opinion. Sure. And I don't know if maybe the criminal activity has something to do with the fact that Nikita Mazepin's dad, you guys remember him, right? What a character he was. Apparently he's still a pretty large owner of their F2 team, which is interesting because I don't really think he's supposed to be able to do business in England with like the sanctions and stuff. So I could imagine that might make your F2 team in ownership of criminal property if it's funded by Russian oligarchs' money. I don't know how the law works, though.
I mean, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like the F2 cars were taken away. Is that a nice way to say it? They were taken away from
They were
the
repoed.
They were repoed by crime. So
I don't think they're going to be in Imola.
Sounds like no. Yeah, it sounds like they don't know if they're racing in Imola, so I guess that's what you get.
I mean, it sucks for the drivers of those teams, but also, like, you play around with people that are in shady circles. They do shady stuff. Another thing we came to realize, so Jack Doohan has officially been replaced by Franco. Starting in Imola and for at least 5 races, they said, which I, again, don't know why you told us that. We don't need to know that. What good does it do telling me that? But apparently Flavio Briatore was Jack Doohan's manager this whole time. He got fired by his manager. That's brutal.
Yeah, none of it looks too good. I do think he probably, going into the season, knew he only had 5 races, considering we knew he only had 5 races. So I think they're just going to play musical chairs for the remaining part of the year. But I did appreciate Jack Doohan's little statement that he ended with, like, yeah, I'll be watching closely for the next 5 races. And I was like, speak, King. Yeah.
Speak. He is, I guess, staying on as a reserve driver, which I'm like,
the top priority reserve driver. Well, I mean, the other one is Paul Aaron, who was signed by Ollie Oakes, so I don't know what's going to go on with him.
And then, I mean, realistically, Franco does bad. What do you think their next move is?
They're going to put Jack back in. They're going to put Jack back in, give him 5 races, and then they're going to go, oh, maybe we should put Franco back in.
Because that's exactly what rookies need. A bunch of pressure, 5 race contracts, in and out of the seat, and no ability to learn.
Yeah, famously, it always works. Name one time it hasn't worked. Name one time this 5-5-5-5 thing has not worked. Name it. I guess technically there'd still be 4 races. Exactly. They're being innovative, and we just refuse to accept that and praise them for it.
Maybe honestly, they were like, the F1 calendar is like too tough. And we need to like give these guys some time off so they can be on top of their game. What if that's what's happening?
That's actually not a bad idea. Give the
They're
engineers some breaks.
Yeah, they're like, the jet lag is pretty bad. So like, we'll just have you guys do legs of the calendar. So like, Franco's doing the European leg. And then like, maybe Jack will come back in, you know, for like that second round of the Americas, maybe Mexico, Brazil. He'll wrap up the Asia part of the calendar, maybe do some Singapore. Why not? See you in Vegas, Jack.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's like, Alpine, they have room to goof around, sit, like, working in the back. Like, you can kind of do whatever you want back there.
Yeah. I love that. Shout out Alpine, doing something new and innovative, keeping us on our toes.
Wow.
I also think that like the criminal aspect is fun. I love how Ollie Oaks is breaking the law and possibly fleeing the country. I love how Flavio Briatore was supposed to be banned from this sport for life and is now just back. That's really innovative.
Interesting how both of them are making it on some lists. You know, Flavio is already on a list. Now Ollie Oaks is on a list. I think that's fun.
I think
it's
Flavio
like VIP.
Was Flavio in a book as well?
Sure. Yeah, he was in a log, some would say.
One that would be in a plane. A flight log, maybe? I don't know. Anyways.
But
what?
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Speaking of creeps and weirdos, Christian Horner might be out of Red Bull. Boo.
Yippee!
Yippee!
Out of Red Bull. Hell yeah.
Well, I'm just like, I don't understand because it's like this rumor's kind of everywhere right now, but then nobody knows where it's coming from.
Nobody is citing anything.
I feel like lately, like the rumors have all been true. Right? It's kind of coming from somewhere, probably.
And outside of that, can a girl dream?
It'd be fun.
Who says no?
I'd be down. Yeah. Who says no? I've heard that there's two ways that this could be happening. One, that Red Bull is going so far downhill, like is perceived to be so bad now and in the future that like Red Bull is making a change in their leadership. Or Max is going to jump ship, and the only way he'll stay is if they get rid of Christian Horner. Those are two pretty probable factors that could be happening behind the scenes.
I think both are fair. Why not both?
I do think it is kind of funny that Max just had a baby and he's like, all right, so first things first, I'm going to race under a fake name. I'm going to get Christian Horner fired and change the entire leadership structure of my workplace. That will be very low stress and won't cause any problems probably. Hey buddy, it's the week off. Like you could just go home probably. What is his problem? Why does he want to work all the time?
It's all he knows how to do. He gets antsy sitting at home, I feel like. He's like nesting. He's making a nice little environment for the baby. He's like, we'll get rid of this guy. We'll test out this series.
Yeah, he's like, first things first, my baby's not hanging out with Christian Horner, so he's gonna have to go. That's
Someone's gotta go.
Iconic. It's iconic.
Happy Mother's Day to Max.
Oh my god. He is the mother of 6 rookies on the grid at the moment.
No, he really is.
He's a single mom who works 2 jobs. The 2 jobs are streaming in F1. Right. My question is, who replaces him?
I mean, I could do it.
Okay. If you're willing to put yourself up for that.
Yeah. I think I could fix the culture, probably. They were saying that one guy who worked at VCarb, France, toast. Is that right?
I don't know.
I feel like that is right. No one look it up. No one tell me any different. But the guy who just retired a couple years ago, apparently, according to these reports that they always cite like reports are saying. It's like, okay, well, could you name the report? But according to these reports, apparently that guy is a good candidate. Might as well. Maybe Ollie Oaks. I hear he's free.
No, I think that was the original rumor, actually, was that Ollie Oaks was going to replace Christian Horner, and then the law thing came out.
Shoot
and darn. So our next F1 race is next week. Imola. Does anybody like that race?
I think I saw someone say that this triple header is the most anticipated triple header, and I just could not disagree more. I'm like,
wait, what's after Monaco? What's after Monaco?
Isn't it Spain?
Yeah, it's a no from me, dog.
I'm like, these are not most anticipated. You mean like most fancy? Like most, I don't know. I don't think that these are the most anticipated. Especially because one of them's a parade.
I'm sure it's fun for the people that live in Europe and go to them.
Yeah, I'm sure it's fun for the wealthy.
They go to
me?
They go to Italy, they go to south of France area, Monaco, and then they go and bebop around in Spain. I mean, that sounds kind of fun if that was them.
That's a summer straight out of the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants.
But we're not invited, so why the fuck would I care? Have fun, rich people, richies. Anyways.
The bourgeoisie.
I think F1's fun and all, but like, I just don't think anything that they do in the month of May is going to be nearly as anticipated as what we could be doing in IndyCar. Did you like that transition?
That was good.
I don't know. Did you have anything else to say about F1? I didn't. Okay. IndyCar. So we had the Indy GP. It's actually called something. It's like the
Soncio Grand Prix.
Dude,
or it's America. Grand Prix.
I'm going to name my first child Soncio.
Soncio. I think it's Soncio. I don't know how to say it. Every time they say it, I'm like, ew, I don't like that.
Sonocio.
This Sunoco.
Sonocio Grand Prix. Do I sound like one of those AI voices?
Sound like Siri.
Welcome to the Sonocio. Okay, anyways, people are going to click off the show if I don't move on. No, turn back around. So we have qualifying 3 RLLs in the Fast 6.
What? How many times has that happened before, Andrea?
Can I venture to say 0?
You would be venturing in the correct direction.
Heck yeah. Well, it's probably because they cheated, right?
I mean, probably.
If I allowed to just say it, I mean, like, I just don't understand. Like, you were nowhere last week, and then this week you have 3 of your cars in the top 6. I'm sorry. I think that that's a bit of a far stretch to believe you did all that legally.
I mean, it's just interesting that they did get raided by the FBI for they were tipped off by Andretti because they're like, hey, I think these guys are stealing our information. And then we see RLL in the top 6, and where are Andretti? They're not even near up there. So if the FBI gets called this week. Yeah, true, probably.
They said these Andretti guys are really bad. We should steal from somebody much better. They did like a Watergate at Chip Ganassi. They like bugged the place.
Yeah.
And now they're like, I'm about to show Alex Palou what we're really all about here at RLL. They got Devlin DiFrancesco in like 3rd place. That's scary. That's not right.
That's not right. It's like uncanny valley at a certain point. I'm like, what am I looking at? What is going on here?
And I used to think that David Letterman, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, I used to actually think like he was cool, but he did something this weekend that I don't think I could recover from, where Jack Harvey went up to him and was like, how am I doing in my broadcasting time? And he said, I think you were better with the driver helmet on.
He said, I think you should put the helmet back on. And so some people were like, yeah, no.
That's so mean.
David Letterman washed?
David Letterman, evil Santa, start the rumor. Like,
David.
why would he say that?
And from that moment on, none of the RLLs had a good race. Thoughts?
Well, they only cheated on how to do well at qualifying, maybe.
They're like, we could be one lap wonders, but as soon as we have to figure out a tire strategy, as soon as we have to figure out driving in traffic, heaven forbid Jacob Abel get in front of one of us. The race is over.
That car. He said, "Move that car." And I want it tattooed on my body. You and I were on FaceTime together, and you said, "That's not how race cars work, doofus."
I think I called him a ding dong.
That's not how race cars work, ding dong, is the like only response you can have to a grown man like crying on the radio because like a rookie's out in front of him. Like, go around.
You gotta feel a little bad for him because it has been like 8 years since he's won. He's like 126 races since his last win. So like, sure, I was like, I mean, if he wins, I'm not gonna be mad, but
I would.
It was just like, I don't know, they were set up to fail. Yeah. His team set him up to fail.
Yeah, probably. But we also had an Alex Palou pole. He got to put a little sticker on his car for going the fastest. He just did Alex Palou things. I don't know. I feel like, and I guess we could transition into the race itself. He obviously converted that pole into a win. What is your thought on like the discourse about like, is it boring to have Alex Palou win all the time?
He's only won 4 of the first 5 races. He doesn't win all the time. Cal Kirkwood won one of those. It's not boring in the same way as it's a lot of F1 people I've seen say it's boring to watch Alex Palou win every race, and I'm like, I know for a fact you're not watching F1, so you're just like choosing something to talk about. It's not boring in the way like tuning in and watching Max win every race because you knew Max was going to win every race, but there were like 30 laps here where we were like, Graham Rahal could take it. Like, there's still a race that happens for first every single week. Now, to be fair, granted, he did finish with like a 10-second lead.
Mm-hmm. When he gets out in front, he makes it himself.
He's
like,
gone.
But like, it's not, like you said, like Max, you didn't see him once.
Yeah.
He didn't pass a single car.
And I think IndyCar did a good job of implementing the new tire rules. I think that made this race a lot more interesting, and we had a bit more uncertainty. I don't know. I don't think it's not going to last. The man I love him to death. I love Alex Palou. I love watching Alex Palou win. It's very exciting, very fun. We do, unfortunately, have to go to ovals. Like, he's not going to win the season outright. He's not going to win the Indy 500. Like,
people literally kept saying, like, what is it going to take to defeat Alex Palou? And you and I both were like, an oval. Just an oval. That's all. That's all it takes. You don't have to. And then people are like, he's going to dominate every race. And I'm like, if his first oval win is at the Indy 500, then fine. Then maybe I'll be like, all right, you know guys, he might be cooking.
Send him the trophy. Like, give him the championship already. If his first oval win is at the Indy 500, that would be amazing.
I think people that are new to IndyCar, like, I think it's worth saying, like, he's not just, like, a little off on ovals. He's not, like, getting, like, 3rd place on an oval. He's, like, not doing well at all.
He has good races on ovals, but he's not starting from the front. He's not doing what he does right now. But to be fair, maybe in this hybrid, he's just a different beast. Although I think that hybrids are going to be significantly harder to control on the ovals from what we've seen from, like, even Indy 500 testing. But if this is your first season watching IndyCar, is not going to be like this all season. Like,
it's changing right now. Like, right now,
we got the hybrid. It's different. It'll be different.
He had a good run, but, like, right now he's going to be, like, working for overtime for, like, a top 10 finish. Like it's not coming to him easy from here on out. You'll be okay.
It'll be change. It'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think it's that easy, y'all. You'll be okay. You'll live. Keep tuning in. Like it's not the Alex Pillow show. And I can understand why you would think it is, but it's not.
Sure.
Sure.
Based on empirical evidence and numbers, I understand why you would think that maybe this man is going to dominate the whole season. But you have to remember, Kyle Kirkwood is still out there. Somehow in second.
There's so there was, like you said, the new tire rules this week. And we could talk a little bit about other people's races and strategies and stuff like that. But I listened to a lot of IndyCar podcasts in the lead up to this week. And it was so funny listening to drivers talk about this tire rule and be like, they're taking away my freedoms. They're taking away my freedom of choice. I want to use whatever tires I want to use. Stop making these silly rules. And then after the race, you had two people that were like, I don't know, I thought the tire rule was pretty fun. And it was a Will Power and Pato Award. The two doofuses that were on the podium, like, yay!
I like the tire rule.
I think it's very funny, but like, I don't know, did you like the tire rule?
Yeah. I thought it made it much more interesting. We saw a lot. Everyone was on a different strategy. There were like 4 strategies going. We had VK and Kirkwood who came in lap 15, and I was like, hey, that's incredibly early. And then they ended up being the biggest movers. And I was like, okay.
No, VK,
awesome.
I think was the first to pit 2 rounds of pits.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, what are we doing?
They said the undercut would be favorable, and he was undercutting by like 10 laps. I was like, hey.
He was like, can I undercut right now? Because I want to be favored. But no, he was favored.
Yeah, him and Kyle both were. They both pitted around the same time. Like, they were on the same pit strategy. I don't know. It's just crazy with so many pit strategies or tire strategies that all of the Rahal Letterman Lanigans chose the wrong one consistently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we just talked about how they had 3 people starting in the top 6. How did that end for them? Not in the top 6.
we had one finish in the top 6. Graham Rahal finished 6th.
Wow.
But he was the only RL in the top 10. And had David Letterman not been mean to Jack Harvey, I feel things would have gone better.
No, that's a fair point. I think so. Thanks, David Letterman. Honestly, thank you for making sure that they didn't win at RL. Sorry. Anywho, so Kyle Kirkwood and Rinus VeeKay. Rinus VeeKay, what a freaking legend, dude. He's so fun to watch because nobody pays attention. He doesn't even show. I literally hardly get to see him on my screen, but when I do, he's making like a masterclass pass on somebody, and then like they'll be like, oh, by the way, he's like up like 15 spots from the start, and I'm like, right. So what a legend.
He's having such a good few races, like genuinely, and he seems like he's on cloud 9. Did you see his little driver intro? I think Celine posted it, where he did a little spin and a little finger guns thing.
He's having such a good time. Is his good time gonna end with ovals too?
He's not bad at ovals.
Okay. He's fine.
He is, but once again, we're operating within the realm of like a Dale Coyne car that I didn't know could do this, so I don't know. It's just kind of like a big question mark. But he nearly won the Indy 500.
True.
His first one, right?
Ledge. I think that if it comes out that Dale Coyne has also been stealing information, I'm okay with it.
Keep it to yourself. None of my business.
Yeah, don't tell me. I'm having a good time, and I wish the best for my boy Rinus, and I don't want to know. So, anywho, who else do we want to talk about? Kiffin Simpson had such a good position to start. Not that it mattered.
Tied with his best ever starting position, which is P10. That's pretty good for just a young, scrappy boy from the Cayman Islands. I don't know what that means. And he's stalled on the like formation lap. And I was like, well, that doesn't look too good, does it? But he had a gearbox issue. Yeah, they pushed him into the garage, and we never saw him again. I haven't seen him since, frankly.
Do we have eyes on him? Where is he, y'all?
Where's Kiffin? But that sucked. But everyone seemed to have issues, like, right at the beginning, because Joseph Newgarden went down pit lane, and I was like, hey, the race is starting, King. Got a new steering wheel. That was fun. And then...
We also had Marcus Ericsson, lap 9, so pretty early on, have power issues.
Yeah, and he just drove straight to the pits. Got out of the car. Colton Herta had powertrain issues. Obviously, went to the pits. He came back out, though. He was just like a lap down. Mm-hmm. And then on that same first... This all happened on the... Well, most of this happened on the first lap.
Yeah.
No. Connor Daly got tagged by Callum Ilott, and they both spun. They did it in, like, uniform, though, the way that, like, Kyle Larson would do with other people. But Connor seemed to fare pretty well from it, but Callum ended up 2 laps down.
I don't know. Prema's having such a time. I forget they're there, to be honest. I really do. I never hear anything from them unless it's like on lap 1 they hit each other or somebody else.
Sure.
They seem to do that a lot. I think that we should work on that with Prema. If I could like give them like Q1 feedback, it would be like on the first lap, try to avoid others.
I think that's good, and I think they should, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that would definitely be at the top of the long laundry list of advice I would give them.
There was this video I sent you from practice. It was like a zoomed in clip of Robert Schwartzman, and he literally was like head in hands. Looks like he's about to bash his head into the pit wall. Like, I literally have never seen a more disparaged man. I'm like, this is the man with a rap career. This is the man with a couple mil on Instagram. And you guys made him this sad.
Choosing to put aside his art, his passion, to pursue this passion project with Prema. And what have they done? They lit him on fire. They've completely cut him off from the world and just axed his radio.
They have ruined... They took him from a very valuable spot as the stake F1 reserve driver.
Yeah. Yeah. And now what is he doing?
He's about to do the role.
They're going to make him do the Indy 500 qualifying next weekend. I'm so scared for him. I'm genuinely like, the fact that he is in IndyCar, having never done Indy Next, didn't do that crazy good in F2. And they're just like, yeah, no, you're going to do road courses and you're going to do ovals with a team who has never made an IndyCar before. Doesn't really know how to do ovals.
His first oval is the Indy 500. We can't stress that enough. We are stressed.
I'm so nervous for Robert. Do
you think best case scenario is that he just doesn't qualify?
Honestly,
I kind of think that's best case.
I think he will be fine if he doesn't qualify.
Take the weekend off, buddy. Take it off.
Because what's worse, he like full sends it, like somehow gets in and just like levels his car or something. That's what I'm nervous about. I don't want him to crash and qualify. You know what? Is there a way that we can vote? You know how you can vote to get like a car in the All-Star weekend? Can we vote to like hold someone out of the Indy 500 for everyone's mental well-being?
What's the oval after Indy 500? Because then after that's Detroit, which isn't an oval.
Milwaukee Mile.
Congratulations, your first oval is going to be the Milwaukee Mile.
No, it's Gateway, I think.
Okay, Gateway. That's a delightful place for you to start doing ovals. Let's not do it here.
It's one of them. Yeah, I think we should start him on. Oh, no, because then we're going to get to short ovals eventually. Can we take him out of IndyCar? It's stressing me out so much.
It's so funny how little faith we have in him to do ovals, considering how many people have come from like F1 or something like that, not doing ovals. Like, what was Marcus Ericsson's experience on ovals before he came? Or Roman Grosjean?
Yeah.
None. But like for some reason with Robert, it just doesn't strike me as like something he's going to just like smoothly excel in.
I think it would be different if he joined like Dale Coyne. And I'm like, well, Dale Coyne's been running these ovals back since the shape was invented. But the fact that Prem is like, we're new here, we just want to make sure everyone knows how to pronounce our name, and then we'll figure out how to do the oval thing. That's what's stressing me out. If it was any other team, I would be fine.
I'm fine with Callum too, by the way. I think Callum can make it work.
Callum will be fine. He's fine on ovals. Even if they put him in one of those soap boxes, he will be fine.
Yeah. We have all the faith in Callum, none in Robert. Okay, so we talked a little bit. We previewed a little bit RLL ruining their race with strategy, and Graham Rahal being mad that other people exist on the track in front of him, that he can't just yell at them to move. And then we have an Alex Flo and Graham Rahal battle. I'm going to say it. I told you on the phone, I was like, it feels like Alex Palou is playing around here. You said he was playing with his food.
Playing with his food a little bit. Yeah, that's exactly.
It seemed like bullying.
it did a little bit. He had him on the line for a minute, and I was like, I know we're watching a side by side, so I can't really see, but I do feel like you probably could have made the move there. I think you probably could have gotten around him. I think, frankly, Alex Palou's having a good time.
Yeah, I think he was just like, ooh, you think you can be out in front, buddy? Huh? You want to play big and bad? Let's see how you are. Yeah, he kept letting like Graham have like the switchback on a couple turns, and I was like, I don't feel like your heart was in that one, Alex.
Yeah, you're not giving 100% here, bud. I've seen 100% from you.
Yeah. So I'm glad Graham got to have a little fun. It's just kind of like watching like a kid get to pretend like he's a real race car driver. Sorry, that's mean. I don't know. It just felt like they were on a different level there. And maybe that's just the difference between Chip Ganassi Racing and ROL. Is like, it just seemed like you were in a place where you weren't meant to be. And you had a great qualifying, and that's great and all. But like, it seemed like you were a bit out of the order.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fair. Especially on opposite tires, which I don't know why. They not only did that, but he also... There was an instance where the team had, like, radioed in. They're like, we're going to do Plan C or whatever. And then Graham Rahal was fully like, yeah, no, we should definitely go to primaries if Alex Palou's not going to go to primaries. It's like,
that was so funny. They were like, they were talking on the commentary. They were like, it's been a while since he remembered to be discreet about strategy. They were like, does Graham know that we can all hear what he's doing? That was funny. Then everybody was losing their mind about the lack of cautions. We heard about it over and over and over again. Well, David Malukas decided to take care of that for us. And he could feel the viewership slipping away. Alex Palou was out front. You know, the time was ticking. He knew what he needed to do. He needed to save IndyCar. So he ran off into the grass and his car started to smoke.
Yeah.
That did it.
And the broadcast was just going, please bring out a yellow. I think this is going to bring out a yellow. Please bring out a yellow. And it did.
They had like a camera just on the flag guy. And they're like, I think I saw his arm twitch. Something's happening.
It's moving.
They were giving a play-by-play of like the guy just waiting for the yellow. I mean, David Lucas has had a tough go of it, but we appreciate his sacrifice. And I think that that's what we needed to keep the IndyCar ratings up. Shout out.
Yeah. It was 408 laps we had gone without a caution.
That's a good amount of laps.
That's quite a few. That's like two NASCAR races though, so if you think about it, it's not that bad.
Okay. Well, two NASCAR races without a caution would be a bit strange.
Well, yeah, if that were the situation, we would have an issue, but it's IndyCar.
So we have Palou win. In second, we have Pato, and in third, we have Will Power. They had pretty good weekends.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think maybe Pato. He heard me talking shit on the last episode. He's like, I hear Andrea saying Christian Lundgaard is gonna be overtaking my spot, and then I'm not gonna win the Indy 500. And he really switched that momentum. He sounded on the radio like he was like, "This is what we needed to do before the Indy 500. Like, let's fucking go." Do you think he's like clocked in just for this month of May
Do you think he like doesn't care about the championship, but now that we're like back at IMS, he was like clocked in?
I think he was just like, it feels so familiar to get second here that it would be weird if I got anything else.
Mm-hmm. He did look a little hazy on the podium.
I'm like, he's having an out-of-body experience right now.
He looked like he had like a very glazed over look in his eye, and I was like, uh-oh, flashbacks.
Oh, Lord.
And then they forgot the champagne, and they started having like fire cannons, which, by the way, has the vibe at like midday at IMS ever been fire cannons? I don't think so.
I don't like the fireworks fire cannons in any of the... They scare me. They scare me a lot. I don't like it. I don't like fireworks. I don't like fire. It freaks me out. Get it away from the spraying alcohol that they're putting into the air.
No, that's so true.
But something a little bit interesting, I didn't add to the notes. Christian Lundgaard did get a penalty. Which did ultimately sacrifice his race. He like locked up coming out of pits and went over the line. So I would be curious how he would have ended compared to Pato had that not happened. But I think
that is true. I forgot about that.
Yeah, both Christians got a penalty, which is kind of cute.
Aw, they went down together. Solidarity.
Yeah, and Christian Lundgaard's penalty, it was a driver's error. It was a minute one that ended up having big consequences. He just locked up in the wrong place, and it, ended up costing him his race, basically. But I do think that he was rocking in the top 5. He would have had a good run at a podium, probably.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the only thing that would have taken him down was, because the car was moving, was that penalty.
And then one last note, you also had the 2 Meyershanks finishing in the top 10.
I just think, I'll say it, I think Marcus Armstrong has led, 3 of the races? At least a little bit? I know for sure he did thermal, the last one and this one. I think Meyershank is cooking. I think they just haven't gotten there yet due to technical difficulties, pit stop issues. But keep your freaking peepers out for Meyershank is what I'm saying.
Wasn't Rosie, didn't Rosie do something of note this race? Did he get mad at somebody on the radio or something? Or did he have a really good pass on somebody? We were talking about Rosie. I can't remember what.
Well, we were in his eyeballs for a little bit, watching him overtake.
And he passed somebody. Wow, we were in his
eyeballs. I don't remember who it was. I remember being in his eyeballs and having a really good time. He also, there was a moment where Renus VK tried to take him out completely, and he did a little spin.
I said, no, Renus, not Rosie.
And he didn't do it again, so.
By the way, when we say in their eyeballs, what we mean by that is the driver's eye cam. I think that this is an important
the driver's eye.
Right. This is an important thing for us to add to the laps down vocabulary. So I'm explaining it this once and we'll never explain it again. When we say we're in their eyeballs, that's what we mean. Get with the program, okay?
Yeah.
That's what we mean. So love being
I really like that cam on some of the cars. Like, I don't like being inside of Christian Lundgaard's eyeballs. Just the way he drives makes me anxious. But like when I'm inside of Felix Rosenquist's eyeballs, I'm like, this is safe. Like, he's gonna do something cool, but we're all gonna be fine.
Sorry, just every siren is really quick coming down my road.
Yeah, for sure.
They're gone now. So, yeah, no, I agree. I don't want to be in just anybody's eyeballs, but it was really cool seeing a pass while we were in somebody's eyeballs, because we never get that lucky. Usually when we're in somebody's eyeballs, it's like something boring. But this, it was like you saw a car out in front, and then it was like, they're gone.
We got like a full little battle that he ended up. I wish I could remember who it was. I know it was a red car, and I know that doesn't help.
Was it, I think it was Scotty Mack. No. Maybe. No,
it might have
Joseph.
been.
Joseph?
Oh, actually, it was Joseph.
Not that we would know, because all of the Penske's have to be red for some reason.
Red is
Why?
You guys are so cliche.
It's like, please.
It's like tacky. At a certain point, it's like a red race car is tacky. Like, No one's cheering for a red race car. We are not all Ferrari fans. No one is cheering for a red race car in this series.
Close your ears, Sebastian Vettel. Dude, do you remember that one episode where he came for us? No, okay, I have to share a little story. So I was on TikTok one time and I looked up laps down because I was looking to like share a clip on my personal. There's a little AI summary of laps down that TikTok creates. And it made up this whole narrative that we've had Sebastian Vettel on the podcast before. And I like to think that when people look us up on TikTok, they're like, whoa, these girls are big shots.
Yeah.
What? They had Sebastian Vettel on. So we're going into the Indy 500. And I know you were kind enough to write down what the vibe is and what we're going to be looking at and what we're going to be doing. Oh, those are beautiful notes, MJ. But real quick, I wanted to, while we're talking about Penske, you and I have joked Penske's washed. I feel like specifically Joseph Newgarden has been having a very tough season. Do you think he can pull off a three-peat? Like, do you think he, like, because he had a pretty tough season in the past-ish. Not this tough, but, like, tough enough, and then he just out of nowhere wins the 500.
No, I do not.
Expert analysis incoming.
I don't have a lot of faith in what Penske is cooking for him. I think if he were in, I have so much to say. But even last year, we were having a little bit of like a Penske hot moment at the beginning of the season. And we kind of are with Scotty Mack, but we aren't really seeing that from Joseph Newgarden. And just the fact that he's bringing an entirely new car to the Indy 500, I don't know. I don't feel the way I did last year, so I don't think so.
You don't feel the incoming dread of having to watch that mustard and ketchup race car steal the joy of the hearts of many.
Yeah, I don't feel... Yeah, I feel like watching him win the Indy 500 again is like watching Joey Logano win a race at this point. It's like, you see the red and yellow cross the line, you're like, that's a loss for the sport.
Oh, everybody's gonna be so upset.
I mean, it would be cool to see him do a three-peat. Penske seems to be having problems. And, I mean, I guess we'll find out this upcoming week with practices.
I don't think I would have a good time. What would be cool about it? I want other people that are cooler to get a three-peat.
There's something cool about a three-peat just in general, like witnessing a three-peat, and it was like, you remember when young Joseph got a three-peat? Like, we'll be able to tell our grandchildren that. But if we're just like, he won two and then just Penske became washed, and
I like that
it's just
narrative.
not as fun of a story. Okay.
No, I'm having fun with it. Actually, the more you say it, I'm like, oh my God, Penske's
That sounds
washed.
good. Yeah.
You own the series and you're washed.
I don't know. I don't think it's a shoo-in the way people are talking about it. People are like, oh, Joseph's probably going to win. I don't feel that kind of confidence going into the Indy 500.
I'd love to see a Scotty Mack win. That'd be fun.
And he's bringing his same car that he got pole position last year.
Pole position?
Pole position last year. The NTT.
Right. Let me just cut you off there. We're not sponsored by NTT, so we're not giving them that sort of plug.
I don't know what NTT is anyways.
It's like a data... We don't care. No, it's not that serious. We're moving on. Would you like to tell us how qualifying works for the NTT IndyCar Series Indy 500, Indianapolis 500?
I thought we just weren't sponsored by it. Oh, so when I say NTT, it's an issue, but then when you say it, it's not an issue.
109th running of the Indianapolis 500. Would you like to tell us how we're going to decide who gets that NTT pole award?
NTT P1 award. First of all, come on.
You're right.
A lot. It's an entire weekend, so it's going to be next weekend. I'll go over the schedule at the end. But on Saturday, we're going to have full field qualifying, and that's how we're going to decide 1st through 30th. Something to note, there are 34 cars entering. But on the full field qualifying, we're just going to lock in 1st through 30th.
Wait, so what happens to those other people?
That's not for a long time. I was just trying to
act like inserting questions.
type of
We'll get there.
audience member.
Just not yet.
Okay.
So, yeah, positions 1 through 33 are going to qualify. We're going to have 1 through 30 set. In the full field qualifying, we're going to have 13 through 30 like solidified, because we're going to have the top 12, they'll get another round, and then the people who don't make it will also get a last chance qualifying, which is like what we talked about with Bowman Gray. If you guys have been here long enough, the last chance qualifying, although it's completely different here, so maybe don't think about that. Same vein, completely different, just the concept of a last chance qualifying. But every car can attempt to qualify once, and then teams can opt to qualify a second time. And they get, I think it's 2 warm-up laps, and then they get to do 4 laps, and the aggregate speed, they're going to average the speed of the 4. That's how you're going to place in the qualifying. For those who decide to do a second or more, sometimes you can do more, qualifying, they're going to like split you into 2 lanes. There's going to be like lane 1, which is like the priority lane. If they get to go first, which is obviously they're going to have better track times, but their previous qualifying time is going to be scrapped. That's kind of like what you're giving up to get priority. Second lane, they'll go second after all the priorities go. But they can still keep their time if they don't set a better time. So that's kind of the benefit to going second. And then the cars who are outside of the top 30, they are basically considered to not have a qualifying time, and they'll move on to the last chance qualifying. And yeah, so that's day 1. And then wait, let me check the exact order, because it's actually the top 12 go before the last chance qualifying. Top 12 is just the top 12. People who
that's handy.
People who place 12 and higher, they're going to get a chance to set their times. And then obviously, like we know from like regular road course qualifying, the top 6 will get to go again in the Firestone Fast 6. That'll be the last thing that happens on day 2 of qualifying. But the last chance qualifying, which will happen between the top 12 and the Firestone Fast 6 for whatever reason, they are guaranteed. So the last chance qualifying, that's how we're going to set 31 through 33, but obviously we have 34 cars, so 1 car is going to get bumped. Each car is guaranteed 1 attempt, but they are able to make more attempts if there is enough time, because it's just like a set, I think it's an hour. But yeah, it's the same situation where they get 2 warm-up laps, 4 laps to set their average fastest time, and then they get additional cooldown laps so that they can like get back in line, but I don't think that's that important. And then the person who is the slowest of those cars won't make it in for this year specifically. So
my questions as an audience member, not me, of course, because I already know these answers. I know everything about IndyCar. Duh, everybody knows that. How close do things tend to be in the qualifying? Is it like by very small margins that these sorts of differences are going to be made?
I don't know, because this year we have the hybrid.
True.
So I don't know how this is going to work. Actually, at all. We had a little bit of a taste of what the cars are going to be with like the turbo power during open testing, and we'll see that again on Fast Friday, which is this upcoming Friday, where they'll have that turbo power again. But yeah, I don't know. That's a great question.
So we're all in this together. We're all figuring it out, and by all of us, I mean us and the drivers, of course.
Correct.
Yeah. You know what I mean? But I think that like it's worth watching even if you're a little confused. I trust in our commentary team to walk us through it step by step. I also think a lot of people enjoy watching qualifying even if they don't 100% know what's going on all the time.
And
even if
you don't watch the first day, like the interesting stuff is going to happen on the second day. Like you're going to have the top 12, the Firestone Fast 6, and the last chance qualifying, which is kind of like, I feel like that's where the drama is going to be, not the people who are like 15th on the grid.
Mm-hmm.
But it'll be interesting because this is our first Indy 500 ever with the hybrids. Coming off of an Indy 500 where a lot of the Hondas blew up.
Fun.
And in case you don't know, the hybrid was made by Honda.
Well, that's good. That's fun. Yeah, I think you guys are in a good place if you're watching your first Indy 500 because it's a first for everybody. And I do wonder if there's going to be like crashes and stuff like that in qualifying because just listening to some of the drivers talk after testing, I think you had mentioned like the blisters on Kyle Kirkwood's hands. I was listening to Off Track and just listening to Rossi talk about it felt like the hybrids were going to be a harder beast to tame and it was going to be a lot more of like active effort being put into keeping it stable around like the corners and stuff like that. I'm curious what that means for when you're trying to put in that fast lap, when you're trying to push yourself over and get to that next level in qualifying. Are we going to see mistakes? Because people are just pushing so hard to find that limit. So I hope everybody's safe, please. It's just for fun.
I mean, we even saw it in open testing, like, and that wasn't when they had like pressure. the turbo boost. That was just Takuma Sato kind of being a beast for a minute.
Yeah, he was having fun.
And then Kyle Larson being a rookie for a minute.
Right. I'm looking at you, Kyle Larson. You do not have to make the fast six. If it's coming down and you're like, maybe I just need to make this big final push, I'm asking kindly, please don't.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I'm hoping the fact that the hybrid's going to be there is just going to shake up the entire thing. We're just going to have a really weird qualifying.
Yeah. What if this is like one of those Indy 500s that like you kind of just have like a glitch in the matrix for a second, like somebody really weird wins because of the hybrid? I love that too. I think that's historic.
When you go back and watch some of the old Indy 500s and you're like, so how did this person end up winning in the first place? I don't know. I think people will just be excited as long as it's like a good race, as long as we have some actual racing, I'm going to be super satisfied. I don't care who wins.
Yeah, I can find a way for the story to work no matter who wins. Like, I can find a way for it to be cool. That's one of the best things about being an IndyCar fan. If you cheer for, like, basically everybody on the grid, is that, like, you find a way to make it work no matter who wins. But who do you want to, like, put in your final, maybe a final prediction for, like, what team you think might excel? Because driver, or do you want to do driver? Because I feel like we've kind of talked on and off about what driver.
I don't think there's a team. I don't think there's a team that I think will overall do well, except for maybe like AJ Foyt or Meyer Shank.
Okay.
Because statistically speaking, they have less people.
They're pretty good. Okay. Oh.
It's easier for them.
Stats.
To do well.
Okay.
Yeah. Average wise, because you're dividing it by less.
Do you want to change your answer for who might win?
No, it's going to be Kyle Kirkwood.
Okay. I think it's going to be... You know what? Fuck it. I think it's going to be Alex Palou. Because it's just going to be so insane. It's just going to be so insane. But, like, he maybe is that good right now.
He is kind of like Honda's golden boy right now. So maybe they'll...
Put a little juice in there.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe there will be some cahoots happening. I doubt it. But I would turn a blind eye to that.
Actually, no. It's either him or Rinus VK.
Okay. Okay. It's either Alex Palou, who's never won on an oval, or a Dale Coyne. But actually, I think Rinus VK, I think that's a good bet.
I just think I'm thinking for like the storyline, like where I could see it being the most interesting.
That would be a good one. I think the most interesting would be Nolan Siegel.
Okay.
Or I told you on the phone the other day, Connor Daly. That would be fun
Connor
for the
Daly.
story. That'd be fun for the plot. I think for the
That would be
plot,
huge
Connor
for
Daly should
Indiana.
win. Dude, Indiana would not sleep that night. The whole state would be celebrating. I think, yeah, actually for the plot, Connor Daly, that would be fun. I think I've probably said every person ever under the sun on this podcast. I think if we go back to like the last 20 episodes, every time I mention the Indy 500, I have a different person that I want to win.
Yeah, I think
fun
same.
no matter what.
Even when we did those like predictions,
Mm-hmm.
it was completely different than what I'm saying now.
Yeah, I don't even remember what I said. I was a different person back then. I'm different now. Don't hold me to anything I've ever said on this podcast. So next up we have NASCAR. We did not have an Xfinity race, so we did have the trucks on Saturday, which was great because that means I got to watch the trucks. I normally don't watch it, honestly, on Friday nights, but I did watch it because it was on Saturday, and I'm so glad I did because it was a lot of fun. We had Carson Daly. What? Who am I?
Carson Daly. Oh, they're both 77. I don't know if that's true or not. I can't remember.
I think Connor's
76.
76.
I don't know.
I don't care.
Not sure I've ever seen him on the screen this year.
You know who else is 77? R.I.P. Valtteri Bottas.
Damn,
He used to be
I missed that
77.
guy. Now he's
Me
just
too.
doing hot laps.
And TikToks. Anywho, Carson Hocevar, not Carson Daly. I don't know who that is. He was racing in trucks and he was having a grand old time. He found his way up to the front and he ended up making some headlines because Lane Riggs, who was in second, tried to run him into the wall and crash him out for the win. He failed at doing that and then just got a massive finger to the face for the full last quarter of the track. And a lot of mixed opinions, and I wanted your take on it. Do you have a take on it?
I think he did the right thing.
Brave.
He knew that. What's his name? Lane Riggs? Crazy name. That's a crazy name.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Maybe I made that up. He knew that he was cheating and had an illegal car and was subsequently disqualified. And so he was showing.
Speaking up.
He was, standing up for what's right. And even in the post-race interview, he was the guy whose name that I'm now incredibly unconfident about. He was even it was funny. I tried to shove him into the wall. It didn't work. Whatever.
And then Carson was I was just trying to be entertaining. Did you guys have fun?
Yeah.
And I was I
I
did. But a lot of people were like, oh, that's so unclassy, unsportsmanlike, typical Carson. And I think it's just so annoying. I will say, sometimes I do feel like people will just complain about anything in NASCAR because, how many times do we complain about, oh, these boys don't fight anymore. None of them have any personality. They don't know how to get rowdy. They all are press trained. And then one 22-year-old kid throws the bird out the window and all of a sudden it's about sportsmanship.
NASCAR was not built on sportsmanship.
What? I mean, he tried to crash him out for the win. I think the least he could do is throw him the bird. And I heard a lot of people being like, well, Carson would have done the same if he was in second. Yeah, but he would have done it successfully. He would have successfully crashed him out. Yeah. And I would have still been like, Carson! Woo! But I don't know. I was curious what your take was. I'm glad to hear that you have a different one, which is that Carson actually could tell by looking at that truck. It looked mad illegal.
He said that truck bed is unsturdy. And I can tell from here.
Oh, I can't. That he has little NASCAR lasers in his eyeballs.
He just has what do they call it? A justice complex?
He
That's
was
what he
I'm
has.
going to do what's right.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like Spider-Man, basically.
Basically. He did not have that kind of luck in the cup race, and we could talk about that later. He used it all up on Saturday. Also, apparently, William Byron was in the truck race, and they said on the broadcast, and I would love to know if this is true. I did not get this memo. Apparently,
Connor Zilisch was supposed to be in that truck race, and because his back is still healing, William Byron had to fill in for him. And I'm like, let me get this straight. So 1 week I have to deal with Kyle Larson in the Xfinity race instead of my dear Connor. And then in the second week, I have to do William Byron instead of my dear Connor. I was like, I don't like these trades that are happening.
Pick someone else.
Pick someone else. Someone I like. Is Christopher Bell too busy? Huh? Huh? What's Denny
What's
up
Alex
to?
Bowman doing? Huh? You're telling me they're all busy on a Saturday night? Doubtful.
Okay. Just go knock on Austin Cindric's trailer door and see if he's free, please.
Hey, can Austin Cindric come drive our truck?
Can he play tonight?
Can Austin Cindric come out and play?
Not till after dinner, unfortunately.
So we had our qualifying for the cup race and we got Kyle Larson on pole. Oh my God, I'm so tired of his name already. And we're going to have a whole month of it. I can't with this man. He's just ruining all my good time. Anyways, he was also ruining Chris Buescher's time, who still has beef with Kyle Larson after he stole his win in Kansas. And everybody was kind of like, oh my God, the girls are going to fight. They were like, Chris is really mad. They were like, we were talking to his crew chief and they're like really mad at Kyle still. How long are you allowed to hold a grudge like that? I don't know.
I mean, if Chris crossed applesauce, just imagine what he'd do to you, Kyle.
Oh, watch out, buddy boy. But I did think that was kind of funny. I guess I kind of think that like drivers just get over stuff like that, like because it's their job. I just figure it's like when you and I have a bad day at work, like we just like go home and go to bed and we go, whatever, I'll try again next time. But like it seems like Chris every night he was like going home and he's like, God, I hate Kyle Larson.
When you don't have that many chances to win, it hurts just a little bit more. Especially Kyle Larson. I feel like if it was someone else, it'd be like, yeah, okay. The fact that it's Kyle Larson. Ugh.
It's kind of like when Austin Cindric stole that dual win from Eric Jones.
That was maybe the saddest thing I've ever witnessed in my entire life.
It's like, well, how many times is Eric Jones going to get to hold the checkered flag? Let him have it.
Hand it over.
I feel like it was mean.
So we start the race. Chris Buescher being in second, I don't think lasted very long. And Kyle Larson just starts running away with it. So you guys ready for the most boring NASCAR race of all time? Here we go. So it starts with Allmendinger having smoke and bringing out the first caution. He was mad on his radio. Did you hear his radio?
Yeah, he told ECR to fuck off. And I was like, who's ECR? Who is that? Get him. Who is that?
It's not like the other ECR.
Ed Carpenter Racing?
What did he do?
What did he do?
I mean, like, they're cool. So, like, don't tell them to F off.
What's your issue with them?
No, I also had the same thought. I was like, wait, who's he mad at?
Who is that?
But they were like, we have engine issues. He's like, typical! Of course! And I was like, whoa.
Poor guy. For a second, I was like, oh, I feel bad for him. And then I was like, that's AJ Allmendinger.
Never mind. He stole SVG's wins.
He once got a little too close to SVG on the Roval, and I've just never gone back.
So, sad day for Allmendinger. We also had we had Byron. I don't know why I tried to use first and last name. He doesn't require first and last name. He can
Willie B?
You know him. Well, he had a rear flat and he got it like right before the pit entrance. So he goes into the pit entrance, he spins, and it doesn't bring out the caution, and he goes and gets it fixed. However, it did put him a lap down for most of the race, and it did apparently cause a problem with the rear diffuser. But they were talking a lot about this rear tire pressure magic that they were trying to do. And you also sent me a thing of Bob Pockris being like, they got to keep an eye on these tires and make sure there's no holes poked in them. And I was like, well, why would you want to poke a hole in your tire? But I guess you want to.
Because they've got, I mean, they're running with like super low tire pressure. You don't want any air leaking out because then it'll just pop, as we saw. How many times today, do you think? 5, maybe?
Right. But like, I just think it's funny to think that they're running on like these like super like lame limp tires with like no air in them.
Isn't that? Oh, no. Never mind. I was gonna say, isn't that like what McLaren's doing? But they're doing a tire cooling with the water, right?
They're putting water in the tire. I don't know. That
There's
doesn't make
weights
sense.
in these fish.
No, I literally am like, I try to get down with McLaren conspiracy theories because like I like the energy, but I just get confused. Like they're got mini
water in the
DRS.
tires.
They got mini DRS. I'm like, no, they do, but where again? Can you point it out to me specifically?
And now, why would that be a problem again?
And that's not allowed, I'm guessing from your tone.
Context clues.
But yeah, so I guess it's like very favorable to have like very low tire pressure at Kansas, and all of these teams were kind of playing a gamble of like how low can you go? How low can you go before your tire pops and you lose the whole race? It seems like a gamble that's like marginally worth it. Right? Like either you might get like a little bit more speed or your tires will pop and ruin your whole race.
It was worth it for the people that it worked out for. And I've always said that.
I love when MJ hedges her bets. I think it's so funny. She's like, I don't have a stance on this and I don't care.
I mean, it was worth it for some of them, but all of the people who we saw get absolutely fucked by it were in the front.
Right. Not a place I would want to have a flat tire.
No, for sure. I'd like to keep all 4 of my tires if I'm almost leaving the race.
Have I said on this podcast before that I used to think whenever they would go down pit road and they'd be like, all right, they're only taking 2 tires. In my brain, I used to be like, I think we need all 4 to drive.
Yeah. Nah, that's fair.
I was like, I think we should put all 4 on. What they meant was they're just putting 2 new ones. They're keeping the other 2. That's good. So tires, still confusing to me. Anywho, Denny had a clutch issue and basically it was just like,
again,
eventually this car is going to be undrivable, but we can have a good go at it. And so he was unable to do successful pit stops. They kind of had to give him a little push. The first time he got it, but like it sounded like it hurt the car. I don't know a lot about cars, but I was like, I don't think they're supposed to sound like that. The second time, unsuccessful. It was the saddest sounding car of all time. It sounded like shit. And they could not get him going. They had to like push him and then he couldn't go. So they had to like pull him out of the other people's pit box and then be like, give him again. It's really sad to watch. Do you think he has progressive car insurance to fix it though?
I sure hope so. I hope they're doing something for him at this point.
Where's Flo? I mean,
I almost feel like you wouldn't want your car insurance on that car at this point.
I think that often. I think a lot of them are like sponsored by insurances of some sort. And I'm like, but that car's in the wall. Interesting. Sorry, Denny. That sucks. Good thing you have 4 cars running for 2311 this week. I'm sure that works out well for you. 4 cars too many. I'm sure that really works out for you well, and I'm sure at least one of them does really well and gets in like the top 10, right?
I'm sure it'll be one of your normal drivers, not the kid you pulled in from Truck Series to drive this one race, right?
Right? I don't hear any response. Yeah, so they had 4 cars running for 2311. As if 2311... Okay. I don't understand. Why did they have 4 cars, yet none of their cars are like doing that well this season for that to be the focus? Can I ask?
Money. It's just money, probably.
I just am like, hey, I don't think any of your drivers are like doing that hot right now. None of them have a secure place in the playoffs. None of them are having a good season. I don't know. Are you guys freaked out at all? And they're like, no, we're not freaked out at all.
But to be fair to them, the car that they brought in did
the best
out of all of the cars. So maybe they are onto something. Maybe they're going to replace... Do they do a mid-season replacement? Yeah, just scrap the other 3, bring in this little Heim kid, call it a day.
We're going all in on Corey Heim. Yeah, if you are new to NASCAR, Corey Heim is in the Truck Series. He was signed this year as a 2311 development driver, and then he made his Cup Series debut today. And he did the best out of all the 2311 drivers. Sick. Great. Awesome. Kyle Larson wins stage 1 and stage 2. Hate to see it. I was not having a good time. He did lose the race off of pit road. I don't know why I have to like lock
Pit
into
road.
like I have to lock into like NASCAR commentator language to Chase Elliott. And I thought Chase Elliott was gonna put it to him. I really was like
Yeah.
sad to see this not work out for Chase Elliott because
He-
he doesn't have a win.
He had a good car, and he just got absolutely fucked on pit road in his pit stop.
But-
it was his team fucked him.
Rigged. It's probably rigged. Maybe. They gave all the good pit stop energy to Kyle Larson. He did struggle. Kyle Larson did struggle when he was in traffic. And I did kind of think like, oh, Mr. Golden Boy is not too good when he's not in clean air, huh? But then he just got clean air again. Everybody in front of him just had their own races ruined. I was like, right, okay. We had Brad, though, in second for a little while, though. And I want you guys to know, I know I've talked crap about Brad on this podcast before. I know I've said I just generally don't like his vibe or his face or anything about him. I have changed my ways. I know we talked a little bit last week about how I think he might be a theater kid. I also started to feel sad for him because his after race interview was quite sad. Where he was like, I was so excited. I thought I might win a race. And then my tire blew and everything ruined around me.
He had a good chance. He had a beautiful car, and they just
He said I had a beautiful car, and I was like, it was beautiful.
He did have a beautiful car. He did have a beautiful car. Why does he wear eye black?
He does?
Every single race he wears eye black, but he's in a helmet that fully covers his face.
Considered that it makes him feel sick.
I think that's probably it. And that's the only explanation I'll allow, because if he was like, no, it helps to block the sun, I'd be like, you are in a car, in a helmet with a visor.
Wait, is that why people wear eye black in other sports? Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I only played indoor sports, as you can tell by my general vibe and pale skin. I preferred sports that came with air conditioning.
She gives indoor sports vibes. Just ignore her.
No, I do give indoor sports vibes. I preferred sports that came with air conditioning. They were usually in a convention center somewhere and had little food stands that sold mini donuts.
Yeah, and hey.
Wait, what did you play? What sports did you play?
None. I played tennis, and that was it.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense for you.
No, I was a theater kid.
Oh. I was a theater kid, and then I realized you get bullied for that, so I learned how to play volleyball.
I didn't get bullied because I was the lead.
You only get bullied if you are in the ensemble, bitch.
Yeah, I didn't get bullied because I was too busy learning my lines every day. No one had time to talk to me.
So yeah, I just wanted to like clear the air about my situation with Brad because I didn't want you guys to be confused if I start saying things that make it seem like I feel bad for him, and it's because I do. So then we had Daniel Suarez, Cody Ware, and Ty Dillon crash. It was actually Ty Dillon and Cody Ware's fault entirely. They were having a bad driver off, and Daniel Suarez just was a victim and a bystander. What are your thoughts on that?
This is the second weekend in a row that Cody Ware got taken out by like a little throuple situation.
I don't think you're good at thruples, buddy.
That's my only takeaway. It's just like, hey, if you're going to run in the back and you're going to get wrecked, sit out. You and Robert can go bowling.
Take the weekend off, buddy. I think 3 wide isn't for you. I don't think you know how to do it.
I don't even think they were 3 wide, were they? I think it was 2, and I think he fucked that up. Which is hard because a lot of racing is 2, side by side.
You do have to be able to go side by side, I fear. So that's probably not good. Kyle Busch was in 13th. Josh Berry came by, and I think they were 4 wide. I think the way the sandwich was looking was we had Ross Chastain at the top. We had Josh Berry, who was kind of nosing his way in there. And then we had Noah Gragson, and then
Kyle Busch at the bottom, who was probably unawares of all of the things happening above him. And then Josh Berry got bumped by Ross Chastain, who then bumped Noah Gragson. And then Noah Gragson bumped him with such a velocity. Like, the difference in bump velocity was kind of crazy. And I don't think Kyle saw it coming. And next thing you know, he's wrecking. I don't know. I felt bad for him, too. Him and Brad are really starting to just make me sad, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah. I take a weekend off, buds. You guys need to recoup.
Yeah. Wait, how did Josh Berry finish?
I don't know. But he tried to take literally everybody out. Every time I saw Josh Berry, I was like, please stay away from other people. Please.
I supported him because he was my multiplier.
Dude,
I was like,
every single time he was on screen, I was like, he's gonna take somebody out. Like, he sent it into the wall. Not like sent it into the wall, but he smacked the wall during qualifying. And then that set the tone for the rest of the weekend. He was just bumping into people.
I think he was mad because he was supposed to do well, and he kept getting, like, penalties and shit. I don't think the bumping into people thing helps for the penalties, though.
It also doesn't help when you start dead last, my man.
Well, he had a situation. Only way to go from there is forward.
Is up. It's into the side. It's into someone else's side. He's got a lot of wiggle room.
Speaking of crashing, we ended up having a Bubba Wallace DNF, which was very sad to see. Him and Justin Haley and Eric Jones and Corey Haim, they got into a crash. It appeared to be Corey Haim's fault. Did we want to blame him officially?
I think it was. Even Bubba said it. He's like, I think it was, what is this number? 67? It's something stupid.
I don't have to remember it, so I won't.
I think this 67 got into someone, and he was just kind of collected as collateral, but...
What is your thoughts on, like, when you're making your Cup debut? Jesse Love, he kind of does this thing whenever he's in a Cup race where he just hangs out in the back and causes no problems. Like, he literally is never involved in any wrecks. He never is anywhere near anybody. If a leader comes up behind him, he goes, after you, sir.
He's very passive.
You, sir. After you, sir. And I was like, kind of like, that's endearing. I don't know if it's like winning you many points with like getting yourself a Cup seat, though, if you're like acting like that. Do you think that like taking a more active approach, even if it is maybe you take out the full-time 2311 driver while trying to advance yourself?
I mean,
what would you do?
Finished the best out of everyone else, so if it works, it works. But then the thing is like, had that not worked and had he finished the worst out of all of them, that's just kind of the gamble you have to take. Truth be told, I'd probably do more of a Jesse thing and be like, I'm not here to piss anybody off, but also gotta put food on the table somehow. And if that involves taking out someone who is currently in a seat that you may get, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Bye, Bubba. I don't know. I thought it was kind of sad, though, because Bubba, he was like, I just am ready to go home. My wife had a baby, so this day's kind of all about her anyways. I'm just gonna leave. Goodbye. He probably got out of there right away. They probably were like, there's a motorhome leaving the infield as we speak in the middle of the race.
We've never had a hauler leave in the middle of a race before.
It's Bubba. Bye. Would love to see it. And then at the end, I was like, please, somebody save us. Please. Kyle's going to win this. Please, 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 somebody do something crazy. And Carson Hocevar almost did.
But he didn't. Unfortunately, yeah,
Wait, what did he do?
He fell victim to the low tire pressure. He blew a tire, went up into the wall, and they basically said, you get your ass down. You get your ass out of traffic right now, or else we're going to go. You get your ass down there right now. And he did, bless his heart, following directions, and he got himself onto pit road. But how do you just hung out there for a minute?
Whose directions, huh? Was it rigged by Hendrick Motorsports?
Maybe. I'd like to think so. It's Big Hendrick up there going, hey, get your ass down there right now.
Doesn't Hendricks and Spire have like a partnership or something? I always see.
And-
I don't know.
I don't know.
That could sound
I don't
stupid,
know.
but I feel like I always see people in Spire
Andretti does.
Motorsports with Hendrick.
No, with Spire.
Oh, yeah. I was like, wait, no, that doesn't make sense. I was like, no, they don't.
Well,
I'm getting all
but
mixed up. What's the ancestral relationship of Spire Motorsports here? Because
I think there's something about like Raja and but wait, like it's the same numbers on the car. Like it's that. Yeah, there's got to be something out there. Google it.
because
Get on there.
I always.
Well, but
see
Raja doesn't
Spire-
drive for Spire. He drives for. I don't know. I give up. No. I back out.
Okay. Okay, HendrickCars.com extends partnership with Raja. Okay, so that makes sense why the people that are working on Raja's truck during like the pre-race stuff, they're wearing like spider. No, don't bring Barstool into this. They're wearing Spire Motorsports like gear while they're working on like the Hendrick truck. So I've always been confused by that.
So, I still don't feel like that answers our question.
I don't really care
So-
though.
Well, you're the one who brought it up.
I know. I realize halfway through it's confusing, and I don't think I'll ever understand it.
Okay.
I mean, okay. I think it's just that they like have this like one truck that's like a Hendrick truck.
But they
even
have
though
like
it's
3 or 4
run
of
by
them that are
Spire.
all in the Hendrick. Do you think only that one car is a Spire car?
Because what I'm seeing is just Spire Motorsports to field NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series with like Hendrick Motorsports. But like it makes it sound like it's just one truck. But that doesn't make any sense.
I don't know.
It
I
makes
don't
it sound
really
like
understand
it's just,
how the-
it makes it sound like it's just Raja. Like they just fuck with Raja.
I don't really understand how like the genealogy works between the series and the teams.
But maybe that's why they were like, get your ass down. Kyle Larson's got to win this. And if he would have brought out a caution, maybe
Because-
Big Hendrick would have been mad.
They field Raja Karuth's car.
Yeah, there's a lot of behind the scenes going on.
There's a lot of connections we're just not seeing.
Yeah, I mean, wake up, take off your fucking blinders to the world and see the conspiracy happening. Wait, what did we think about that one guy that, like, in the truck series race that they, like, he had a flat tire fully spun and they were like, that was intentional. I was like, I don't know. I feel like he just couldn't probably drive the truck with a flat tire in the back.
Yeah, that was...
Did Jeff Gluck ever give his final verdict?
He said that he didn't think it was intentional. He's like, I have no reason to believe it was intentional, but he's like, I also don't have access to all the radios, so maybe there's something out there. But I feel like there was a couple calls during the truck series race that were like, no, you're doing something in cahoots with somebody. Like that guy who got a penalty for what even was it? And then he was like, no, I was just following the 5 car. And they're like, yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah, what are they doing over there? A truck series is just a bunch of... It's like the Alpine crime story all over again. They got a bunch of cahoots happening. They got a bunch of stuff going down, shady stuff, shady people, lots of, messing around with the result happening in trucks. Maybe we got to tune in more, keep an eye on them.
Yeah, and almost every week someone's disqualified from trucks. I'm like, hey,
I don't think they're
That's
good
crazy.
at building these trucks per code.
they got to start emailing out the rules, NASCAR. This wouldn't happen if you would just give everyone a copy of the rules.
Wait, I don't mean to go backwards, but this made me think about...
Would you say that...
Okay, so we were talking about people who were trying to argue whether or not IndyCar is a spec series. Do you want to give your final thoughts on that? And also, how does that extend to NASCAR? Because people obviously say similar things about NASCAR.
They're both spec series in a loose term. It's not a formula series. Kind of the options are you have a formula series, like an engineering series, like Formula One. And then you have a spec series, which is what NASCAR and IndyCar brand themselves as. With IndyCar, it's they all have the same chassis. They all have the Dallara chassis. Hasn't changed for 652 years. Probably won't change for another 652 years. But they are able...
That's hard.
Why say for 10 years you're going to make another when you could just say for
No.
10 years you're going to make another and never do it? But there is, within regulations, you can make changes to the car, which is why we see the Chip Ganassi's doing super, which is why there are teams that we go, oh, these teams are doing well. It's not because their drivers are necessarily better. I mean, obviously
They probably
they
are a little.
Sure. But they have better machinery. They have more resources. They have better engineering teams. We've got teams who like clearly have better pit crews. There you go. Mm-hmm. There we are. Mm-hmm. It's the same in NASCAR. It's like they all have the same regulations that they're working within. It's not essentially, like, it's not fully an engineering series. However, teams can make changes to the car, like have different, like they all have the same packages, but they can make changes to like the aero and stuff. That's where you see teams pulling out wins like JGR, but then you see teams like 2311 who just aren't doing as well. So yes, it's a spec series and the cars are more similar, but saying, I kind of want to move away from being like they're an equal machinery, because like they're not. I mean, maybe between teammates you could say they're an equal machinery, but I think even sometimes that's not true.
I think that like we like to say that they're equal machinery because it makes it sound like these drivers are like world class. And I do think that there are obviously world class drivers in IndyCar. They just choose to go to the teams that are the best at putting the machinery together. Alex Palou is not going to drive for Dale Coyne right now. Because why would he? He could drive for Chip Ganassi. And he's a great driver, so they want him. And he wants to be there because they have a good package. They put the car together the best. They have the best strategy. They have the best pit crews. They have the most resources. They have the everything that you would want if you were a world-class driver. And that's just the reality. And that's why some teams are going to excel and some teams aren't. And it's not because, I think it's like comforting to say that they're an equal machinery and to be like, oh, they're a spec series, and then just like end the conversation there. But that's just not the reality.
There's more to it. And it doesn't like just end there, because obviously NASCAR races on 4 different types of courses. IndyCar races on 3. So it's like there's so many factors that go into it. Calling it a spec series and leaving it at that, it feels dishonest. But like you can obviously compare Alex Palou to like, where have we seen Kiffin Simpson? Where have we seen, like, if you want to do like a driver comparison, where have we seen his teammates? That's where you're going to kind of get into the meat of a driver comparison. But there's so many factors, because it's like Scott Dixon isn't worse than Alex Palou. Well, maybe he is, but
it's okay. You don't have to say that for the benefit of the pod. You can rock with your biases.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure I've ever seen anyone better than Scott Dixon actually in my entire life ever. And I've watched Turbo once, so
nothing on him. Wait, can we talk about Will Buxton bottling the line?
Dude,
instead of
what was it he said? Oh, he said
never discount.
Right. The phrase is that I say constantly is you can never count out Scott Dixon. You can never count out Scott Dixon. And it's usually said, my favorite moments of a race ever is when Scott Dixon's coming from the back. You're like, oh my God, he's in P6. Is he going to get a podium? And you go, you can never count out Scott Dixon. But then Will Buxton, bless his heart, trying to put a little British twang on it, says, well, this is a guy you never want to discount. You never want to discount Scott Dixon.
I think I think you could hear James Hinchcliffe put down the microphone. He was like, I think I've had quite enough today. Where's the nearest door? And how do I walk out of it?
You could never discount. Is this a yard sale? Huh?
He is not at Five Below.
He said that is on the highest shelf. The moment he said that, I did kind of lose my mind, because I felt the line coming. I felt like you can never count out this guy, Scott Dixon. But I love Will Buxton. He's trying, but yeah, I think that's a strike for me.
I will say the pep in his step lately. He's been having such a good time. He's been going on Kevin Harvick, being like, F1 sucks. And then he came on the broadcast this week and he's like, I love IMS. I love Indiana. I love Indianapolis. I love Indy 500. They were like, whoa, Will, you're a new man. He was having the time of his life. I'm so happy for him. I can't wait for this coming weeks with the Indy 500.
It's going to be so good. He's had such a glow up, like just coming from, which I didn't really expect. I was kind of nervous when they were like, well, Buxton's coming. I was like, oh, okay. But he's having a great time.
I think he loves IndyCar so much that like the Indy 500, he kind of, I think, was talking about one time he hasn't ever really gotten to like go because he's always worked in F1. So there's always been
Monaco.
Yeah. And like he's just like, this is the first time I think he's gonna like get to like be there for the Indy 500, which I'm like, crazy that you're calling it on live TV. But I kind of like am getting the chills for him. I'm like, oh my God, Will, have such a good time.
I know. It's like a kid, like right before Christmas. He's like counting down the days. He's like, he's moving he has a little advent calendar that he does before the Indy 500.
Wait,
I'm excited.
Wait, Lapstown merch idea. An Indy 500 advent calendar. Wait,
Every
is
day
that, would religious people get mad at us? Aren't advent calendars like religious?
No, it's like a commercial Christmas thing. Calendars aren't religious anyway, so
take that, guys. Okay, if you guys would get mad at us for it, then please like give us fair warning, because I'm seeing the like wheels churning in our heads. Like I'm thinking like you have like a little Indy car that you move each day into like a different pocket, and then it cuts down.
It's a different like pit stall.
Oh my God! And then you start it on literally the first day of May. How stunning and cute would that be, guys?
That is really cute. That's a good idea.
Okay, well, we'll keep it in the back of our minds for when we have a merch store someday. Do we want to talk about merch?
Yes. We asked and you answered.
Well, that's good.
We asked, we had those, Andrea made these cute little hats. The little laps down hats. Yeah, go grab one. I'll vamp for a second. I don't know how to vamp for a second. But essentially, Andrea made these little custom laps down hats, and she wore one to Miami, and we kind of got quite a response back that people seem to like them and may potentially... Here, Andrea has one if you're watching the YouTube. If you're not watching the YouTube, you've probably seen it somewhere else. Wow.
Sorry, I'm wearing my headphones, so I can't really give the full vision.
Love it. But we asked if you guys would be interested in purchasing them, and quite a few of you said that you would be interested, so we made a Google form which we will put out, and they are, what is it, $25 for a hat? And
did you Venmo me $25?
Yeah, that's Andrea put that in the Google form.
It got edited, don't worry.
I didn't edit that part because you were very excited about that part. So, but we'll
25. And if you don't have Venmo, we can find another way, but Venmo is the preferred way. And we'll leave the pre-order open for, I think, 2 weeks is what we have on there.
I think we said the end of May, didn't we? Or did we just do 2 weeks? Well, it'll say on the...
One or the other. You guys read the form. I don't know. I'm a different person now than from when I made that 3 days ago. And we will get them out as soon as we can. Obviously, don't expect like fast, like immediate shipping, because we have to get them made first. But I think it should take no more than like a week or two to get them in the mail and like a tracking number to you. And I will be sure to update you guys the whole time.
You'll have them before the Roval. We can guarantee that.
And that's honestly what I know you guys are all wondering. So if you guys want to be part of the first edition Laps Down hats, the first ever round of merch, we would love to do that with y'all. And thank you guys for being nice enough to even consider. I'm going to be honest, I don't think me and MJ ever considered that people would like be wanting hats right now from us. But then people did. So we were like, okay, well, we'll see what's going down. So you guys can be part of that first round of hats if you'd like. No pressure, though, by the way. If you like don't want to buy the hat, like, please don't. Like, it's really like, it's just for funsies. If you want one, that's great. If you don't, you don't need one to be a true Laps Down fan.
No worries. Times are tough.
Guys, tariffs,
it's expensive out there.
So they're just for funsies. I know that a lot of our friends listen to this. Don't be like, oh my God, do I have to buy a Laps Down hat now? It's okay. You don't. Do we want to do fan favorite before I forget?
Yes. Why don't you go first?
Okay. I've decided that my fan favorite for this week is... It's Brad. It's Brad.
It's fair. He did a good broadcast.
Oh my God, he did I remember that. Yeah, I forgot about that. That's a good reason. I was just going to say because of the sweet moment that he had after the race today and how I just feel connected to him now. But yeah, I feel like he's actually so good at being a commentator during the trucks race. I actually really enjoy when Brad's up there. He's like running that show. He's the main commentator and he's quite good at it. Other people are okay at commentating. I think Joey Logano feels like it's Joey Logano doing a commentator job. But when Brad does it, he just becomes a different person. I'm like, that's a commentator Brad, not a driver Brad.
That's a good one. I think mine, I wasn't really on Instagram this week, so I didn't really see much from the drivers, but what I did see was Trackhouse, and I guess Trackhouse would be my driver of the week. But Trackhouse made this video where they walked around and asked SVG's crew who would win against a gorilla, like 100 SVGs or a gorilla. And a lot of them were they had very calculated answers. And they all said that 100 SVGs would win. And they, like, provided enough logic that I was like, hey, maybe you're right. So I think that's...
Wait, I'm kind of confused by this question that, like, has been going around social media because I'm like, 100 people is a lot of people. Like, they don't believe 100 people could just, like, be a gorilla?
No, it's 100 men.
Like... I don't like giving men credit for things, but like I feel like that's kind of crazy if 100 of any type of man couldn't beat one gorilla, right?
Consider this. I don't think I've ever seen a man organize anything and like make it happen. If you think about it right now, all of the series we love to watch are run by men.
And they're kind of badly organized and run.
Would you say perhaps the country is ran by men? At least 100. Well.
Yeah, but like a gorilla is so much easier than organizing an event.
Yeah, but a gorilla's gonna get in there. He's gonna have no feelings. I'm assuming it's also a man. Gonna have no feelings.
Why is the assumption that the gorilla is so wound up? Like, why is he so like?
Because it's fighting for his life. It sees 100 men. Would you not? If you were in a room with 100 men, would you not also be wound up and fighting for your life?
Okay, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I'm just like trying to like put myself in this like space. Do you think that like 100 of me or 100 of you could beat a gorilla?
I think we could do better, and I think we could get the gorilla on our side.
Yeah, I like. And then in my mind,
we could go up against the 100 men.
Like 100 of me, I feel like we could very easily like get this gorilla like sedated. Like at least like 50, like at least 15 of us would be like on the phone with the local zoo, like coordinating a response with like sedation medicine, and then like the rest of them would like be just like holding the gorilla down. Why do I have to kill the gorilla? I don't care.
Well, that's the task, is killing the gorilla. I think I have the same rationale as like when I think of myself in a horror movie where I was like, I'll just befriend it. Like I'll just get it on my side. Like, I'll just tell it my life story, we'll cry together, have a martini, and then everything will be fine.
You're that girl, like, in every, like, NCIS or, like, Criminal Minds episode that, like, they would just be like, she's fucking talking to the serial killer.
Yeah.
She's trying to get to the bottom of his trauma. I watch those characters, and I'm like, hey, I think it's shut the fuck up time. I'm gonna be honest, I think it's be quiet time.
I could get in there. I could get into the mind of Michael Myers. Mike Myers. No, Michael Myers. Mike Myers is from Cat in the Hat. I could also get into that mind.
I'm still not watching that movie.
Yeah, I added it to the list of reasons that this podcast could break up.
Yeah, we have a list, by the way, on our phones. You kid knows some of them. We'll bring them up when needed, like this one. Some of them are to share. One of them, famously, I don't want to go to a Monster Jam. And that I'm a Caps fan.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
We're using that loosely, by the way, guys. I literally don't care about hockey teams. I just watch and I go, oh, I like that they use lowercase letters. It's that easy, folks, to win.
She's got a thing for the lowercase letters. If anyone ever responds to you in lowercase letters, it's her, just so you know.
Yeah, we used to have a brand guide. Then I kind of started going rogue. um, Keep your eyes peeled. We have a vlog from Miami that might be coming up on Wednesday if I can finish editing it. That's a me problem, by the way. If it goes up on Thursday, sorry about it. It's my fault. But I have to get MJ to approve it, and I haven't even finished editing it. And keep your eyes peeled for Indy 500 stuff that's happening. Like, make sure you're on your calendars. You got it marked, and you're tuning in. It's very important to the pod that you guys are all clocked in for your shifts of watching the Indy 500.
Yeah. And do we want to say that our episode next week may be late?
I don't know, because I'm like convinced in my brain somehow it won't be.
It 100% will be.
Okay. Well, just like keep in your mind's eye, like keep in your like general like just vibe of the world that potentially it could be a little late next week. But it's for good reason. I promise. And make sure you follow us on Instagram and TikTok and all the things at LapsdownPod.
Please follow us. Please. If you follow us on TikTok, will you please follow us on Instagram? You don't even have to engage with any of our stuff, but will you please follow us on Instagram? That is my plea.
It just makes MJ sad because like nobody vibes with us on Instagram. We're not like Instagram's favorite child at the moment.
The only time anyone follows us on TikTok is when we have a kind of controversial video go popular, I guess.
We're going viral. We're going viral. Me when we get 5 hate comments. We're going viral.
When we said something everyone else says, but we just said it as women. We're going viral.
Yeah. My favorite so far, like recently, has been when we made an entire video on TikTok about the discourse around Kyle Larson and how much we don't care. And then people continue to have a discourse in the comments.
Yeah.
I was like, why are we fighting in front of me? I just said I don't care.
That was kind of fun.
I think per Indy 500 broadcast, we should have like a 10-time limit of talking about Kyle Larson. If you talk about him more than 10 times, you use up your allowance for that broadcast. You have to wait till the next broadcast.
I think that's fair. Make him hit a quota. Oh, wait, no. That's like a goal. What's the opposite of a quota? Like a cap.
An allowance.
An allowance. Okay.
Okay. I can't wait to timestamp this episode. We really went a little back and forth at the end here. Oops.
Yeah.
My bad. We'll smell you guys later. Bye. Say bye, MJ.
Goodbye.